what's going on? Thanks so much for tuning in. Welcome to the channel. I'm Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we are looking at our weekly astrology. This is for February 27th through March 5th. I hope you're doing well. This is going to be a little bit of an intuitive read, but also just kind of looking at the main transits and some of the energy that we could be expecting. Just remember, this is a general collective reading. It might not all resonate, and depending on your birth chart, where the house placements are is going to kind of dictate where this is manifesting in your world. So hopefully that helps give a little bit of tidbit and insight. I'm going to keep this probably short and sweet so we can do a little bit of reading at the end. I have this really cool astrology oracle deck. It's called Child of the Universe. It's so awesome. It's available on Etsy if you're interested. I love the book, the companion book that she put with it. It's just amazing, especially if you love astrology. So I always think it's fun to mix different forms of divination and just kind of see what comes up in the energies. So with that, let's get going. All right, we have just recently entered into Pisces season. Happy birthday to everyone that is celebrating this week. Sending all the love and blessings to your day. But with that kind of brings about a lot of feeling, emotion, heightened sensitivity, etc. We are starting the week out with, sorry about that. So we are starting the week out with a little bit more of a heavier emphasis on the air energy. It has a Gemini signature, which is really great for us, especially being in the middle of such a watery season, because it gives us the opportunity to look at things a little bit more diplomatically, especially when it comes to our emotions, our feelings, because those really are the central focus as we start the week out. The moon, Mercury, and Saturn have the heaviest influence on the chart, which is basically like our emotions might mess with us a little bit, especially as it relates to how we want to appear, what people actually are seeing from us, or how we want to look. But if we're connecting with that love energy, really kind of speaking from a space of honesty, authenticity, nourishment, etc., it's actually going to give us a little bit easier way to navigate through things. So just meaning that if someone brings something to your attention that might need a little love, a little healing, self-care, try to receive it with grace. This is that value of not letting the BS get you down. Everyone has certain thoughts, opinions about you, about how you should be living, etc. Our job is to say, thank you so much, take it into account if it needs to be, but then also be that self-referral, of how much weight does this thing hold? Because like I said, a lot of this is, especially with being at the end of the zodiac cycle, we're in, like I said, Piscean season. We're about to start a fresh new year in the zodiac with Aries season right around the corner. There's a lot that's being pressed upon us about how we are going to show up, how we are going to look, when it comes to our abundance, like what makes us love being alive and feeling our empowerment, etc. And there are some things that are challenging that a little bit, i.e. the emotions, the duality of life, people, places, and things. One person saying one thing and then they act a completely different way. And then how it affects like our ability to feel strong and empowered and make the choices that we know we want to make. All of that stuff has to be taken into account, right? So just remember, it's never all one thing. Often, I think just hands down, there's multiple facets and layers to life, etc. So try not to let those little things get you down. There's not a lot of tension. It's just like annoying petty BS that's kind of getting in the way, especially as we start the week. As we move forward, we're actually getting some of that tension is releasing a little bit. The more we feel confident and comfortable in what is happening. But then it's also saying to not rest too heavily on your laurels or misinterpret why someone's saying what they're saying or why they're doing what they're doing. Because there is this tendency to be a little bit resistant. Well, I know what this is, or why they're doing it this way, or my intuition is saying, intuition can be a really finicky thing. The truth of it is, if it is an intuitive message that we need to receive, it's going to help us feel peaceful, not all like worked up and bent out of shape, etc. It's a peaceful knowing. Yeah, it might ignite some like fear or tension or whatever, but it's not going to be something that's like riling us up, is what I want to say. So be really mindful, because the Mars energy is definitely going to play off of that a little bit. And it can give a very distorted picture of what's actually happening. And if you, if you end up falling into that a little bit too much, like relying on what the illusion is, it's actually going to keep you in this cycle for a little bit longer. It's that Black Moon Lilith energy that wants to trip you up a little bit, that wants to see like, oh, are you actually learning your lessons? Are you actually doing what you should be doing? Or is this just a bunch of lip service? As we move forward, the 1st of March, so we actually see one of the main transits, most powerful, which I think is a really beautiful transit, is Venus and Jupiter coming into alignment, into conjunct. This really talks about how relationship energy is really blessed. You might be meeting someone new. If you're single, maybe you get a change, a boost in your relationship. Something kind of fortuitous happens that's like, yeah, like it's a little gift, right? With it, there is a little tension, and it's again, just the annoying petty BS. It's nothing too major, because for the most part, the chart is fairly positive, right? Like we're getting more help from the energies, so to speak, than things that are going to be too conflicting and frustrating. That won't happen until we move towards the end of the week. There might be a little issues around communication. Be mindful of that, or not feeling like we're being heard. Do the best that you can. Be as clear, concise, authentic, and honest. And then after that, you can't really control how people receive it. Communication, especially in our weekly zodiac, well, I guess they are, but tarot readings, it's been coming up a lot. There's either no communication or miscommunication or people not talking to find information. So I feel like that's a really strong focus. It's actually going to make you feel better, you know? And this is more about our feeling and our emotion versus how we look, like whether our ego is satisfied or not. Because I feel like there's still some internal work, healing happening for us as a collective. Some of the residual from the last couple years, getting a little bit more grounded into these new ideas, goals, manifestations that we're having. So don't be too critical on yourself is what I'm hearing. Just be mindful that you're not letting things like get the best of you. Because if you keep trying to sweep it under the rug and pretend like it's not happening or not addressing it, it's definitely going to explode. Especially as we hit, like I said, more towards the end of the week, where communication can get really shoddy. It is in conjunct with Saturn energy. It is in Aquarius, which has a tendency to be a little bit more rebellious, right? Aquarian energy is air energy, which represents our communication. It's the sword suit in the tarot deck. And words can be like daggers, right? They can be like swords. So be conscious when you are communicating, especially if it is with someone who's not getting the message or doesn't really understand. Like I said, to the best of your ability, say what you need to say, be as clear and authentic as possible, but don't get lost in the explanation, like constantly trying to prove your point. Some people just aren't there yet, you know? We need to give a little bit of grace where grace is due, whether we want to or not. It's gonna make us, like I said, it's more about how we feel about ourselves versus what other people are thinking or feeling about us, which is life. I'm sure we all know that. But legit, that's like the energy that's being called forth right now, that it's about your healing, it's about you and how you look and how you are, communicating yourself to be versus someone else's outside opinion. And, we might not see the results that we want in the way that we want to, but it's also trusting the results that are coming in are going to be way more heart honoring. We're getting this Chiron conjunct to Mercury and Jupiter, which again is our great benefact. It brings in our fortune, our abundance, etc. And that's basically meaning that when we're doing the healing work, it's gonna pay off, it's gonna pay off, even if it's not with the person, place, or thing that we're kind of crossing our fingers, hoping that it does. Because obviously life is magical, the dance of life. So it doesn't always work out how we anticipate, but usually it works out in a more beautiful and harmonious way. And that energy continues to get emphasized as we move through the week. If we're doing the healing work, it's going to be frustrating. We're going to have to make choices that we don't specifically want to make or we're not really planning on making. But when we do make them, it's going to feel so stinking good, And I feel like Spirit, like I was saying earlier, is going to give you a little bit of a reward, It's not like, it feels in a way that other people do see, whether that's coming through your business, whether you're getting some accolades from some outside people, you are gonna be noticed, especially when you are the one standing up from that space of integrity, moral stability, etc. It will get noticed. It's just actually doing it. And that's like the battle. I'm sorry, not laughing, but just laughing at life. The irony, All right, so yeah, like I said, tensions do, it's not, I feel like tensions are kind of waning, like we are building up to the full moon, but it does feel like it's not going to be too crazy. There's not a lot of like really prominent transits that are happening this week. Is there anything else I want to say about this? Well, and like I said, like there are blessings that are being delivered through the process. So it's, again, connecting with what you should do. All the shoulds. We get a little bit more fire energy as the week moves on, which will give us the ambition, the drive, the determination to make it happen. It's not just going to be all empty chatter. We're actually going to put some action and integrity behind it. And like I said, as we're ending this week out, it's like we get a little bit of a blessing. We get a pat on the back. We start feeling better about how it's all working out. Okay, so there's that energy. Again, that house of self. We are really in this period of time where it is focusing on how we want this next cycle of our life to look, and how we want it to look versus our ego or putting someone in their place is usually two different things. No matter how justified we feel by bad behavior, I keep hearing that value of like taking the focus off of everyone else and putting it on yourself, focusing how you're showing up, what you are doing, in fact, for yourself. Because you are building and growing. Ironically, we're moving through the first quarter moon. This is all about when we take that moment in the moon cycle to kind of reflect on what goals, what intentions, manifestations we had set, seeing what's working and what's not. We let go of what's not working and we put more energy towards what is, because that's actually going to help things manifest when that full moon comes around. Yeah. You might have to be a little bit rebellious with this Uranian energy going off the beaten path. But this is, it's rebellion in a healthy way. Sorry, I'm all about the wellness. But really like standing up for the underdog, like really fighting for yourself. But again, not out of ego. And we all know the difference of that. We know when to shut our mouth. We know when, it's going to fall on deaf ears. Maybe I find a way to creatively say it, but I don't have to force the issue. Yeah, and that's the clarity. Maybe you have struggled with that a little bit in the past, and maybe you're really changing the tone on how people do see you. And remember, the work that you're doing now is going to be reflected as you move forward. It's just having that faith and trust, reminding yourself that it is so important to put in the energy and the work, because you are going to see fruits of your labor. And it's soon. It's coming soon. It's just like some of this like lingering tension and frustration. So guys, I hope this helped. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sending all the love and blessings to you and whatever you're navigating through. I definitely am here to support in whatever way possible. So hit me up if you want a personal reading or energy healing, wellness consult, etc. I'm here for you. Definitely give me a big thumbs up if you resonated. Drop comments below. I'd love to build and grow the community. All right, guys. Thank you. Lots of love and blessings always.